I remember my dreams.
The dreams. The dreams. The dreams. The dreams.
Good morning.
The dreams.
I've got some time to burn between appointments this morning, so I thought I would jump on here, get a little bit of simulator time in, and talk about some of the news that's been going on out there. Simulator time in, and talk about some of the news. The big news, that everybody's kind of chittering about this morning is that interest rates have moved back up. I think they're somewhere around 6.6, which is up from yesterday, which I believe they were around 6.13. Of course, we've been fluttering up above, 6 for a while now, and of course, we're way up above where we were, not all that long ago. So, when the whole interest rate conversation, it happens, every single day. Like, what's this interest rate going to do to my buying power? And of course, the reality of it is, we know that the interest rates reduce your buying power. But it's like the same thing, said over and over and over again. That, matter of fact, it's even better than that, because of the interest rates doing this, vacillating up and down as they have been. A lot of people are waiting for interest rates to drop down after the beginning of the year, because there's a rumor that they will. That rumor's been out there now for a couple of months, that for some magical reason, once we get past Christmas, past New Year's, that interest rates are going to go down. And I do understand some of the theory as to why that would be there, but the reality of it is we don't know. We don't know what interest rates are going to do. The Feds have been very clear in their communication about interest rates that they don't believe that inflation has been quashed yet. That the recent peak that we just went past does not indicate that it's going to go back down. Stop increasing interest rates in order to tamp that inflation down. They're really, really clear on that messaging. So, for the rest of us out here in the real world, trying to get things done, trying to time, what those interest rates are going to be, it's a fool's errand. It's not worth it, and it goes back to what's been said over and over again about, primarily we're talking about real estate here. If you're thinking that you're going to buy a home when interest rates fall, let's just say, for instance, after January 1, so's everybody else. The demand for housing is already so high as it is, without any other factors, without considering what interest rates are doing, that if in fact you do wait, the other factors, you're going to be waiting for increased buying pressure. So, you know, from if we we look at that perspective where it happened, because we can't predict what they're going to do. Let's just say it does happen. Well, then everybody rushes after January 1 to go get to go start buying because they've been all pent up for some reason that rates are going to drop, some substantial amount. But there's no indications that it is. So, the same thing that we've been saying over and over again is that instead of waiting to try to buy the interest rate, focus on getting bought in and not spending so much time being focused on something you can't control. Once you have your mortgage set up, and it is what it is, later in the future, those rates are going to change. And if they change for the better, if they go down, then you refinance then. But if they go up, you're going to be really happy that you're locked in at a rate that's lower than what they go up to. That's realistically the best way to hedge against the volatility of these interest rates. We can do like a mortgage calculator, and I'll pull that up over here on the side, just kind of see what we have. We'll go with 200, just random number here, $240,000, 30-year fixed mortgage. Today, this shows here. We're going to put it at theoretical numbers. The base rate yesterday, 6.13, would have been a mortgage payment that would have ultimately resulted at $1,459 a month. That change that we just went through today takes that up to $1,538. That's that difference that we're running into here. Those small changes in interest rates do have a sizable impact on your monthly payment. We move up like to the average price in my area, which is about somewhere about $310,000 or so. I don't 100% know what it is today. And we look at interest rates as of yesterday. That is an approximate payment of $1,885 a month. But interest rates today take it to $1,980 a month. And these are just random numbers that I'm throwing out here. They're not tied into reality. They're just showing you the difference there. A $310,000 mortgage, 30-year mortgage, 6.13 is $1,885 versus 6.6 is $1,980. It's a pretty big difference. That can be the difference in between, whether or not you're able to fill your truck up, you get enough fuel in your truck that month, or that's taking out of your groceries or whatever. And that's what everybody's kind of going around and around and around. These interest rates, the hikes, they do make it difficult to justify buying any home for that, any home, but definitely like moving up. So like if you're already in a home right now and you're locked in somewhere like 3.25%, you can't sell your home and then go buy another home, at an upgraded home from where you're currently at and pay these, this 6% and justify that. But the reality of it is that's not the only reason that you may be trying to buy a home. So like if you only look at it from that one perspective, that interest rates are making my mortgage more expensive. So if that's the only perspective that you're looking at it, then sure, it doesn't make any sense. But the reality of it is that a lot of people are moving for a very specific reason, and it has nothing to do with the interest rates. It has a lot more to do with things like I'm moving for work, moving for more convenience, or I have to have more space. We've got a new kid, or my kids are getting older and they need more space in the home. Whatever. Everybody has a personal reason why they're buying and selling real estate. And the interest rates the interest rates affect it, but they don't control your reasoning for buying or selling your home. And so we'll take that and we'll segue. We're going to segue from that conversation about interest rates into something that happened to me yesterday, which was a client that I'm working with is looking for a home that has owner financing available. And in my area, there's not many. Actually, there's only one that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are more that I'm not aware of, but everybody that I've talked to, there's no homes available with owner financing. So I knew about the one home, and I sent it to her, and just like, hey, this is the only home I'm aware of that currently offers owner financing. You can look into this and and get back with me and let me know what you think. So I followed up a few days later to see where she was at with it, and to also really understand what it is that she's trying to achieve. And after getting to know her a little bit better and trying to understand what it is that she was ultimately trying to achieve, is that it's pretty understandable once you find out that they're in an atypical scenario to where they're afraid to get involved with bank financing because they're afraid that they're going to get they're not going to get approved or what have you. So they're avoiding that whole conversation and trying to find something that's owner financing. So, and I thought that's like it's a really good time to like start talking about what are the implications of owner financing versus bank financing, and we kind of take that into this conversation that we're having here, which is kind of educate them and in turn educate ourselves a little bit more about the pros and cons of that. So one reason you might avoid bank financing is because you don't feel like your credit's good enough, or maybe you're self-employed, and that creates its own can of worms, because I've been there, having to deal with that. To be honest with you, a lot of banks will frown on self-employed income. And it's hard to verify that income. There's just a lot of stuff that goes into that. But the verification of self-employment income, credit, past foreclosures, sick spouse, or a spouse that can't work otherwise, or a single parent or whatever. There's a lot of everybody's got their reasons as to why they would avoid bank financing or they would look for owner financing. But it's important to kind of look at the whole picture, and so there are some benefits to owner financing, such as especially in the case like if you're a renter and you're trying to get into home ownership. We all know what that timeline is like. That timeline is not friendly. You've got to make a decision where you're not going to re-up your lease, and you're gonna get somewhere. You got to get all that timing right. So with owner financing, typically the closing can be faster because you don't have to go through all of the rigmarole that you have to go through with bank financing. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to close with owner financing. There's not. It's all going to be dependent on what the terms that owner is willing to provide. Knock this off real quick so I can see. There we go. Perfect. Oh. Not only is it cheaper, typically the down payments are flexible. So you're gonna. Every bank has its own requirements, but so does every owner. We're gonna jump into this. So cheaper closing cost, flexible down payment, and a faster closing. All of those sound good, especially, and then of course it's a good option for you if you can't get a mortgage otherwise through traditional mortgage financing. So there's some pros for a buyer who's looking for owner financing. Now, there's some cons too. Some things that you need to understand if you're going to go and get into an owner finance situation, and that is you're setting yourself up potentially for higher interest than what the market bears. So and it's again because you're going to be at the whim of the owner providing that. They don't have an incentive to provide lower interest than what the market does. They're the ones carrying all that risk. So get that started over here. You're going to have that owner's approval, which is it's not going to be the same approval process as what a bank is likely to require. You're going to run into possibly a due on sale clause or balloon payments. There's these things that that can run into you that traditional mortgage financing you're not going to run into it. Talking with this client in particular and getting to understand where she was at, there are still options. There are options with traditional financing that I think can work for her, and we're gonna work on that. And I think that's gonna be useful. So, moving on from that, moving into race news, or at least race news that impacts me. The SCCA has just come out and decided that the NB2 cars, the model of Miata that I race, is now going to get a 25-pound weight penalty for the sake of balance and performance. And for those of you guys that aren't indoctrinated in all this sort of stuff, in the Spec Miata class, there are 4 cars or four different Miatas that are in that class. There's the first gen, the NA with the 1.6 liter motor. There's the NA with the 1.8 liter motor. There is the NB1, which is, I want to say it's 1999, 2000 model cars. And then there's the NB2, which is 2001 to 2005. The major difference between the NB1 and the NB2 is the NB2 has VVT, variable valve timing, and on that the variable valve timings, apparently provides more out of corner torque than the 99 and 00 cars can provide. So you have different weights for the 4 different cars, restrictor plates, differences between the 4 different cars, and this intake and now exhaust modifications are different for the cars. So depending on what specific model of Miata you have, it would dictate what kind of what restrictor plates you run or what intake you run. I think the NA 1.6s are potentially going to get a header now. But it's caused a lot of brouhaha in the Spec Miata community, and that it's going to be it's going to be hard to tell exactly what it all means until the season starts. So an extra 25 pounds in my car, I'm not sure yet. I'm honestly not sure. Clearly, I'm going to have to run a ballast system in the passenger side of the vehicle to get it to the point to where it's going to get it to the point to where I can actually ballast it out correctly. Right now, I have it's a race seat, but it is I still do have a passenger seat in my race car. So that's going to have to go to. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. That's going to have to go to a weight plate system. Dun, dun, dun. Get that out. And speaking of racing, I'm going to kick up some iRacing action here. We'll jump back in the IRX Beetle, the Rallycross Beetle. We'll turn some laps, see if we can go a little faster today. A slightly different course than the last time I was racing the IRX Beetle. But they change it every week, so. This car is so much fun to drive. Almost hit that car.
Left side. You cut that corner. Clear.
Right. suspense for a second. Maybe not. Right. And you can see based on this replay just how dirty this IRX Right. Let's click over here. Let's check this stuff out. So this morning we were talking kind of what's going on out there with interest rates and what, kind of how that's impacting people. And what we were talking about last was the new SCCA rules impacting spec Miata for the 2023 year. Definitely it's going to be interesting. Adding 25 pounds to my car, especially since my car right now currently has a junkyard motor in it. So I'm not exactly sure kind of like where my car sits at, especially since power level right now currently has a junkyard motor in it. Weekend before last, we dropped off my race motor back to the race shop down in Memphis to get rebuilt. So we'll see whenever we get that back. That should get us back up to an acceptable horsepower. And then, we'll have to take out the passenger seat, and we will have to put in a ballast system to be able to get the car to the correct race weight. And I don't know, maybe I'm ever an optimist. I don't know if I'm actually that concerned with what 25 pounds is going to do to my car. I know it's going to slow it down. The question is, can I make up for it in prep and in just getting better into it. So I think my last time I ran at Hallett, I'd set my personal best time. It was a 1:29.2. I think it's totally feasible, reasonable to be in the 28s. So we're gonna. It's time for qualifying. I think it's totally feasible to get into the 28s in my car, even with the 25 pounds. I'm not going to get too caught up on it. It sucks, but it is what it is. I do think that we're going to see a lot of EVT cars hit the market, go up for sale soon. So, while we're waiting on this to load, we'll talk about this channel a little bit, like why I started this channel, because, I know some of you guys are like, oh man, like why is he talking about real estate and why is he talking about racing? It's the whole deal. So I started this channel because I had an idea that so many great conversations go on at the racetrack. People talk about, their small businesses, they talk about, ideas they have, so on and so forth. And I thought I would basically virtually extend that to you. Have these little simulated track days, if you will, which, because it's so much cheaper, I can have them like almost every day, which is amazing. All right, let's focus on this a little bit. Let's throw some laps in the beat. For any of my car peeps that are hanging out with me here this morning, if you're into iRacing and you want to get on the channel, you want to talk about what you're working on, like your race car that you're working on, or your street car that you're building, or whatever, you know, let me know. Let's hop on here. Let's see what you're up to. Error loading data. I don't know what that's about. Vivian, I will fix the motor noise right now. Hang on just a second. Let me know if you can hear me better and if the motor noise is not quite so loud. All right. We're going to qualify. I'm not expecting too much right now. Honestly, I'm not super in the mood to be trying. It's a new track. I haven't been on this one yet, but I'm also not like, 100% in the mood to be doing this. All right, that's 2 laps of qualifying. I don't know how we stand, but we're gonna check it out. I'm glad you can hear me better. All of this stuff is it's a lot more complicated than it looks. There's the screen that you're watching over here to my left, and then I have a screen over here to the right. Of course, the camera's right here. And then so I'm controlling all of the streaming activity here on this secondary screen. Unfortunately, for some reason, I cannot see my Twitch chat. Do not know why. I will have to look into what is going on there. All right, y'all. For anybody that just joined me, appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. This was kind of random. I still haven't set up a schedule to do this, and I need to. I both need to hold myself accountable, for practicing. This is supposed to be a tool for me to keep my reflexes up during the off season, and I'm not as regular at it as I should be. Matter of fact, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this IRX Beetle race, and then we're probably gonna jump into the Miatas, which is where I should be. So we're gonna kind of check that out. Oh, what else to tell you? So, some of the things that we'll discuss, kind of going into episodes in the future. We'll discuss how the 2023 race season's going, what we're doing for that. I'm setting up mechanisms to be able to stream live from the racetrack, the actual racetrack. And not only that, but kind of take you guys around and show you guys some stuff. Like car prep stuff that we'll be doing, the stuff that we like, the trailer prep and all this sort of stuff that we have to go through in order to actually get to the racetrack and field a successful weekend of racing. All right, good to go. This stuff gets pretty tricky pretty fast. We'll let all these guys beat each other up first. Like I said, first lap's usually pretty hairy. You saw that white car cut in a minute ago. That's what's called the Joker lap, and that particular part of the course is shorter. You have to run one Joker lap per race. Nope. I'll squeeze one in here before it's all said and done. Pretty abrupt landing on this particular track setup. And there's the Joker. Just got hit. All right. Car seems to be okay, so we're going to keep going. I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. Let me know where you're from, what you're up to today. It's a cool Friday, and like literally a cool Friday. It's very cold outside. All right. Clear corner. There we go. Oh, got hit again. Botched that corner. This rallycross takes some warming up. It's a very different discipline from asphalt racing because you've really got to manipulate the car to get it to slide around these corners in a fast way. Well, that guy ran me into a wall, so I don't know if we're gonna be. The car's gonna be okay to drive. Seems like it's okay. Yeah, we're okay, kind of. Clearly, the front left wheel is messed up. Yeah, definitely have some wheel damage. Got one lap left. Just try to get through it. That's all we can really do. Alright, we're completing the final lap. Kind of see where things go. Alright, race is done. Overall, that's not bad. This is the first time racing this course configuration. It's a little tight over there. Well, directly in front of us, actually. That section of the track is pretty tight. Vivian, I won't be at the racetrack this weekend. It doesn't start until, I want to say March is the first time we go out. But I'll be doing this in the meantime, you know, doing this simulator broadcasting, if you will. Let's hop out. Let's go see the results. Yeah, you can see here that the front left wheel of the car is damaged. That made it pretty difficult the last couple of laps. Not as bad as I've had it before, but let's see here. We'll jump out of this. Right. What time is it? Looks like we've got some updates that are required. Why not? So, for those of you that have been with me this morning, I apologize. I cannot see the chat. It will not update on my side, so that's something I'll have to work on between now and the next time. I'll try to get that fixed. Let's see. But I think, you know, So iRacing has several updates that have to be done, and they're pretty sizable. So there's not much more I'm going to be doing this morning, but I'll definitely tell you that it's been a fun little intermission this morning. It's been fun getting on here, doing a little bit of racing. I am going to try to build a schedule to make this a more regular thing. And although this is primarily aimed at my ability to practice, we'll talk about real estate, we'll talk about finances, we'll talk about self-improvement. Honestly, me next time. Gonna have a lot of fun and try to make this something that's scheduled so you kind of know when I'm gonna do it. Other than that, catch you guys next time.